In this episode, we'll take a look at the Feelworld F7 Monitor for your camera. First of all, a quick shout out and thank you to Linus over at the Techline HD YouTube channel. You can find that up here. He is a tech reviewer, and he was the one that contacted me and said, hey, let's get together. I'll contact Feelworld. They'll send out a monitor, and we'll each do a review. So this is kind of a collaboration, and you can check out his channel over here. First of all, let me start by saying this is the best $200 field monitor I've used. First off, the screen on the F7 is really, really nice. Of course, the most important feature. Very nice, fine detail with tiny little pixels. It has very good color quality and contrast, which generally matches my Panasonic GH5. Not something you necessarily get on most other $200 monitors. The sun hood is really good and is really critical when you're shooting outdoors because the finish on the screen is a little bit reflective. The F7 takes a 4K signal, but then displays it at full HD. Its screen resolution is actually 1920 by 1200, which means that it can display an entire full HD image, plus leave a little bit of room at the top for some control information like battery status. The F7 has some great exposure tools and audio scopes and meters. My favorite is false color, which actually overlays different colors on the image to show you which parts are overexposed and which parts are underexposed. Red are parts that are overexposed and pink are parts that are underexposed. This makes it really easy and quick to change your exposure levels on your camera to get the exposure exactly where you want it. There are also zebra marks if you prefer to work that way, which will identify parts of the image that are overexposed or nearly overexposed. And of course, there is a histogram if you prefer working with those. Another great feature is the fact that there are 3 customizable function buttons. These can get you to different functions of the monitor very quickly. In my case, I set it up so that button 1 toggles the false color on and off. Button 2 will allow me to zoom in so I can get critical focus. And button 3 toggles through the 2 different levels of focus peaking. There is also a headphone jack, so if your camera doesn't have one, now you have one here on your monitor. It takes the audio from the HDMI feed, which is captured by the camera. The F7 takes NP-F Style batteries, which are ubiquitous. You can find them almost anywhere. There are lots of them on the market. They're affordable, and you can get much higher capacity batteries as well. And also you can power it via AC, which is nice if you're working in a studio situation where you don't want to have to keep swapping batteries. A few quick cons. The screen finish is a little bit on the reflective side, so that's not generally a problem when you're working indoors, but when you get outdoors, that can be a problem. However, with the included sun hood, I found that it's still definitely workable. It's hard to see if you're off at an angle, but if you're right on angle, then it works great. One thing I found a little bit troublesome was that the power button is right next to the other control buttons. There were a few occasions where I actually turned the monitor off when I was trying to push one of the other buttons, and it takes about 15 seconds to reboot the monitor, so you just have to get used to that and make sure you don't press the power button. The ball head that comes with it, it's nice that it has one, isn't terribly strong, so if you're going to be doing some more rough and tumble type of things, you might want to invest in a bigger ball head. It does come with a Sony NP-F Style battery. The battery only lasts about 45 minutes, but you can buy much larger capacity ones at very affordable prices, and we'll put some links down below. Some of my off-brand NP-F Style batteries had trouble staying connected to the battery sled. I think that's probably the issue with my batteries, but just so you're aware, some batteries will have trouble staying hooked in. You have to kind of just press them in and use friction as opposed to them actually locking. But the battery it comes with does lock, and some of the higher quality batteries seem to lock as well. A couple of other notes, there is some latency on this monitor. It's not the worst I've seen, but it is pretty much expected in this price range, so the F7 did pretty well. And then finally, there is no waveform monitor on this field monitor. Again, that's to be expected at this price range, so just in case you were wondering, there are some other great exposure tools. There's definitely the false color, which is my favorite. There's also a histogram if you prefer to work that way. So overall, if you need a field monitor, relatively large, say 7-inch, for your HDMI-enabled camera, I think the Feelworld F7 at $200 is a great buy. It has a lot of great features, pretty decent in terms of what it provides for the amount of money that you spend. And finally, thanks again to my friend Linus over at Techline HD for making this review possible. Be sure to have a look at his channel for some great tech reviews, and also thanks to Feelworld for providing the monitor. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those down below, and if you have not already subscribed, make sure you do that. And we'll be sure to get you more great videos on how to improve your lighting and sound for video. Talk to you soon.